everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! You are not advertiser friendly! Saturday the 14th! Yes, we are finishing up week number 2 in this bloodbath of carnage and chaos. And oh man, we is just moving along, man. When you're watching tons of people just get brutally murked, the time just flies by. Anyway, so tonight, I am fulfilling yet another request, a request to review a Jess Franco movie, otherwise known as Jesus Franco or Jesus Franco. I don't know how you pronounce it or how he prefers, whatever. Anyways, and he is a provocateur. He is maybe even considered somewhat of a sleazeball B-movie director, but he is a maestro of the macabre. And I am not, I'm familiar with his work, but I have not watched too many of his things. I mean, the thing that kind of just jumps out of mind is Vampiros Lesbos. But anyways, let's get into the film that I am reviewing tonight. As requested, I am reviewing the movie Bloody Moon. Yes, Bloody Moon. Now, what is Bloody Moon about? Well, it's about a man named Manuel who has a horrid disfigurement on his face. And one night at a party, he steals someone's mask and pretends to be this guy. And this woman's like, oh man, I totally want to have sex with you. So she goes, or they go back to her place, and you know, when they start getting to the nakedness, she takes off the mask, sees oh my god, it's not you, and you're messed up in the face, and she freaks out, and Manuel freaks out, and he grabs the scissors, and he just brutally just stabs her over and over again in her fleshy midsection, and just chunks of bloody gunk just is all that's left. And of course, you know, this being was this Spain or whatever, he only gets 5 years. I mean, 5 years later, I guess maybe mental issues, I guess, is what they're going to be claiming. But man, 5 years, shit, dang, I gotta start murdering in other countries, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so he is released to to his sister, who is running, or partially runs, I mean, their mother does, this health spa country club type thing, along with this international women's study boarding school. And so Miguel becomes infatuated by one of the boarders and stalks her everywhere she goes, hiding in the shadows behind the bushes, peeping through the window. And all would be well and good, but this lady's friends start dying one by one. And of course, no one seems to believe her. I mean, they just think that she's got too much of an over-imagination, since she reads lots of crime and murder novels. And so while she kind of cracks up, trying to figure out who's trying to kill her, while no one believes her, and also trying to stay alive, we have this kind of weird, little bit uneven plot where we're trying to figure out, is Miguel the one responsible for the deaths of this girl's friends, or is it some other sinister force? Actually, because the mother, the countess, the controller of the estate, was, well, burned alive, and the sister seems to be number one on the want her dead list, since she is getting cut out of the will. So we do have a bit of like, who's doing this, what's going on, and why are the people around her, the boarder, why are they getting killed anyway? So yeah, kind of a mystery murder mayhem fest. Anyway, so let's get to those scores. Violence and gore, I am giving it a solid 4 out of 5 because the violence is brutal. Sure, there's not a whole lot of it, but each death has its own cruelty. I mean, we got like chainsaws and we got big buzzsaw things chopping people's heads off. We've got a freaking knife scene that goes from behind, stabbing someone in the back and right out their titty. I mean, it's freaking nuts, some of the violence in here. So anyways, I'm giving it a pretty good 4 out of 5. Shock value, 3 out of 5. Like I said, I mean, we've got some pretty shocking kills. I mean, like this fucking kid gets waxed. I mean, just greased. And that takes some balls to do that. I mean, you know, some American movie, really, they don't. I mean, we got hit, yeah, but for the most part, man, you don't usually touch the kids in that murderous type of way. Anyways, and a couple really solid jump scares. So, yeah, kudos, 3 out of 5. Plot, 2 out of 5. Okay, look. This movie is so disjointed. It has very little flow. It jumps from scene to scene. I mean, I don't know if it's just because it's poorly edited or, I mean, it probably is poorly edited. And I don't know if the direction is to blame, but it's so uneven and so out of whack. It just feels so rushed. I mean, the movie does fly by, and I mean, I might be watching a very cut up version, even though, I mean, I saw a lot of nasty gore in this one, so I don't know, man, but yeah, it just seems so, you know, disjointed and out of sorts that, I mean, the thing is, like, watching it, it's not like you don't know what's going on, it's just you're, like, kind of like, why is it being like this? It almost seems like some things are out of order, and it's just a really, really weird experience. And the plot, I mean, real basic type of thing with I mean, the wonderful, interesting ending, but still, it just it's just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's just, it doesn't feel good. It feels a mess. And so 2 out of 5. Acting, my goodness, I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. Like the English cast is horrible. They are pretty horrendous. I mean, there are some people who give a halfway decent performance, but oh man, it's so, like, just like the way they emote, and it just reminds me of like the old, almost not as bad, but the old CD-ROM games where they had the voice actors that they couldn't hire actual talent, so it was usually like the programmer's girlfriend or the vice president's daughter of the company, you know, would do the roles, and so it was kind of just stilted. I mean, I know they're trying to like fit it with the voices or in the mouth movements sometimes, and they might have to have just, you know, a short amount of time to get like a large sentence in there. But man, it is just so. I mean, it's almost entertaining, the poorness of it, but it is bad. It's bad. So 2 out of 5. Nudity, I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5. I mean, most of the nudity is pretty brief. There is a bunch of scenes with it. It just didn't seem as impactful. But still, 2.5 isn't bad. So anyways, 2.5 out of 5. Enjoyment factor, I am surprised that I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. But altogether, the pieces, even though it's a mess story-wise, the movie is cut so weirdly, and things are just like, you know, not has little flow to it. The entire package was intriguing. I mean, I wasn't bored. I was just watching it like watching a train wreck. I mean, it just like trying to see like, okay, how are we gonna do this? What's going to happen? I mean, there's just moments in this movie where you're like, okay, this actually could be something. And then there's moments where you're just like scratching your head and going, well, that's okay. And like the narrative is just really weird. It's forced at times, and it feels like a mess. It feels like an amateurish, rushed, low-budget job, and that's probably what it was a rushed, low-budget job. But man, it's still your eyes are glued to it, because I mean the music is got that great kind of, you know, European. I always like to say Italian, but there's just this weird. Not necessarily what you would consider mainstream horror type of soundtrack. They had a lot of that weird sounding like a saw blade, the type of sound going in there, and it was weird. It was an experience to watch this. And it was enthralling. And honestly, at the end, I'm like, you know, I dig the movie, even though it's kind of bad. And so anyways, 3.5 out of 5. My overall impression though, get the review cap on, is a 2.5 out of 5. There's just so many problems with this movie that I just can't elevate that score any higher than that, because it's just the plot is a mess. The editing is horrific. The acting is atrocious at times, and yet there's still a lot of enjoyment. The violence is on point. The blood and gore is nasty, and you know we've got some lovely Tetons. Oh man, my God! It was almost this time. It was almost the time I dropped the damn skull. Oh my God! It almost happened. Holy cow! I'm so tired. Anyways, so yeah, 2.5 out of 5. The movie is just I mean, I don't know if you've got to have like the right mindset and a love for these kind of offbeat, weird European slasher type films, or I don't know. It's like maybe I just kind of like that kind of stuff, and I'm able to survive the badness of the rest of the stuff. So anyways, that averages out to be 2.8 out of 5, which is actually a pretty solid score. You get those bonus points for that violence and that nudity, that's for sure. Anyways, but yeah, the movie, wow, it's something that, like, you know, you get some alcohol and you get some friends and you just watch it and you just have a good time with it and realize that it's cheesy B-movie goodness with a somewhat incoherent storyline going through it, but no, I'm glad I watched it actually, and I'm happy to fulfill those requests. So, anyways, what did you think? Did you watch Bloody Moon? Tell me what you thought about it in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm full of shit? And if you have anything else that you may want me to review before this 31 nights end, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up. Give me all the loving, blah, blah, blah. And remember, Internet, I will see you next time. Stay sexy. Stay scary. And, oh my God. Oh, just where the fuck did she get that chainsaw? Seriously, where the hell did it come from? I mean, like, I guess maybe, you know, like Friday the 13th Part 2, you just keep it in your, you know, your little closet dresser thing. I don't know. Anyways, yeah.